Little bit cool out this morning. We're just going to take a look at these plants real quick. It's awful chilly out. It's supposed to get colder than that in a couple more days. Got some of that Canadian air coming our way. Our neighbors across the road. Yeah, look at them. They're looking a little droopy. You can just tell they're droopy. Look at that heavy dew that they got. Look at that. See how the leaves are doing that? You know, I picked these out really clean. As clean as I would want to pick them. I just put it that way. I cut some of the stuff off that was kind of holding on. It still got a little bit here and there. I didn't want to pick on them much more than what I did. I really need to take and maybe put one more string across it. Those look a little bit better. They all laid down on the ground. I'm surprised any of it even looks halfway decent, to be honest with you. They look halfway decent. Now, them late varieties might take a little bit of that cool weather. You know, I don't know. Yeah, look there. It even hurt the flowers. It's hurting the flowers. Supposed to be a little bit good and warm, but unseasonably cold. Boy, I tell you, I just can't get no luck this year. It stayed cold. It got a late frost. It actually froze. After it froze, it's doing this. So, I got what I wanted out of these things, man. You know, I would like to make a 5-gallon bucket of like some bread and butter pickled tomato, green and red. That's kind of what I had in plans, but, you know, didn't get enough. And, you know, it's always good to give a few of the neighbors, whatever. You know, hey, take a few or whatever. If you got plenty. You know, the little ones that did really, really good, they throwed a lot of tomatoes, you know. Now, if you had progressively planted them like 2 weeks and 3 weeks behind each other, you probably could have keep getting gobs of tomato, enough to make some good pickling green tomatoes, like bread and butter, like a pickle. And all that. I wanted to do some of that. I wanted some pickled corn. Boy, I had my... Ooh, that makes my mouth water. I wanted some 5-gallon buckets of pickled corn or one good 55-gallon drum of pickled corn. I wanted to do one, but... You know, it needed cleaned up or whatever, so... Whatever. It's a little cool out this morning. Those plants, they look a little limpy. I don't know, they all see them, some of the smaller ones, the leaves are looking a little, see there, that's limp. They did fall over. But tomatoes like a little bit of cool weather usually. You know, they'll take it down to like 40 degrees. But it kind of stopped growing. Most of the tomatoes I used to grow stop growing at like 60 degrees. It gets below 60, they're done. I wouldn't be surprised if these are not done, but I got my feel for tomatoes. The bigger ones, they're later varieties, you know, they might do something. Then again, they might not. You know, it gets that cold, and then with that heavy dew they got on it, it could frost. You know, it kind of looking for a frost this morning. I'm not going to lie. So, just going to have to keep our eyes on everything. I'm just wanting this tobacco to seed out. So, I got some seeds, and I'll have to get no more seeds. And I think I got enough marigolds for seed pods. I got a pill bottle full of just each and every one. Man, I don't know. Them blooms look really nice this morning. They got that little bit of water on them. You can see good. I don't know, I got out here and I put that DEET spray on there. I still ended up picking about 30 ticks off me last night. They didn't bite me, but they were stuck to me, you know. Look at that. Man, that is picture perfect. I don't know, maybe plant those a little bit later. So they don't get so big. You don't have problems like you do out of the big ones. I mean, I like all those flowers, but, you know, really that would be just make like a bouquet, really. If you were trying to sell some flowers, definitely make a real nice bouquet. Yeah, you can see Those were nice yesterday. Look there, that cold weather. It about killed them. Yeah, look at them. They're getting limp too. They're a little limp, but they did fall over. So, yeah, look at that. It ain't liking that none. So, but, you know, they did lay over. Really couldn't do nothing about it. It rained real hard and it broke the strings, and, you know, dogs could have got into it and the whole thing. We're just going to have to play it by ear. I got my feel for them. Like I say, I wanted to get some pickled green ones and stuff like that just to make something for the winter time. Probably going to have a bad winter. You cut open a persimmon seed, you see a spoon in it. That means you're going to have to shovel yourself out of the snow. Around here, it does snow. You know, I've seen it up 5 feet before, but, you know, not always. Tobacco's looking good. But, you know, it's starting to get a few little bugs on it. I just wanted to come out here when it's nice and cool. You know, it looks like it's starting to get ready to pick. But I'm not taking it for the leaves this year. I just want some seeds. I was going to build me a little, like a place to hang, you know, like some shade or whatever. I'd like to plant me up some. The old man wanted some chewing tobacco, but I think you're just better off to buy it because you got to smoke that stuff, and it's a process, man. But, you know, he does chew a lot of that stuff, and, you know, they can eat 250 pounds of fertilizer. You got to get a fertilizing program to really do any good, and water it and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot to it. As far as growing tobacco, you know, some of that stuff is like a flu cure. Put it in this thing and it blows air over it. It don't matter. You can harvest it late, but really you need the heat. Hence this morning it is wicked cold. You should have already picked it. You know what I mean? If you're trying to do anything with it. I've already seen a lot of people already pick most of their tobacco. Whether they have like an earlier and then a later crop. It all depends on what you're trying to do, chewing or smoking or whatever. You know, I like to chew a little tobacco myself. We used to make some homemade tobacco, but we would use like vinegar in a 55-gallon bucket. My great aunt used to go out there. About the only time she'd want you to come out there when she wanted some help. Other than that, you know, she'd run you off. She had like a scoliosis. She had a big old hump below her neck. So, you know, she didn't need no help. She was mean as a snake. But, you know, when she did need help, she needed it. You know, she grew a lot of tobacco. She liked that tobacco. And they fermented the tobacco, too. That was some good stuff. I liked that. She knew how to smoke it, too. You know, she had a little thing that she made, and she'd put like a smoke cure on it. Pretty good.